This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife. All right, this segment's being sponsored by Taylor's Archery. They're down there at 100 East Lauderdale Street in Tullahoma, Tennessee. You guys can also give owner Tracy Taylor a call, 931-563-7706. Let them take care of all your archery needs, and be sure to tell Tracy and his team thank you for all they do for our archery and archery in the schools programs. All right, if you guys want to call in, you go ahead and do that now. It's 615-737-7767. And while you're working on that, these guys are already getting nervous over here, these calls coming in. But y'all can go ahead and call in. In the meantime, Jesse, I wanted to ask you about a few things that we kind of hit on earlier that I found really interesting. You know, that a lot of people wouldn't think much about. You spend a lot of time not only fishing for these crappie, but looking at them on these graphs and live scope. You learned a lot about them.
Yes, sir.
So one of the first things is just talk a little bit about big fish in relation to smaller fish. I mean, you've noticed that they don't really hang out together a lot. I mean, how does that typically work?
Well, I tell people all the time, big crappie, they're not sociable. Really, they don't. You know, you'll see them together sometimes, but most of the time, like you see in this video, it's going to be one, pretty much. You know, and I tell people all the time that troll. If you're trolling, you're catching little fish, move. You know, either change depth or move, because if you're catching little fish, you're going to continue to catch little fish.
Yeah, right.
Big crappie are not going to hang out with small crappie. Big white crappie. They're just not going to.
You know, you're not talking to spawn when they're up on the banks. You're talking about they're schooled up. Your small ones, a lot of them are schooled together. Because of course, I watched a lot more of the live scope footage that we can't put in 18 minutes. But sometimes you'd be passing over big schools of fish and you wouldn't even really mess with them. You just go on,
drop the pole down.
But you wouldn't even drop it. Wouldn't even try to catch them. But then you'd see that one. I mean, look like a frying pan down there, and that's the one you's out there. And so that's something really, you know, whether you have the graphs or not, to keep in mind. I mean, that's a big thing, like you said. If you're sitting there and, man, I'm catching them, but they're all 8.5, 9 inches. Get out of there. The big ones just aren't around there. That's a really neat piece of information. We got some calls coming in here. Let's go ahead and grab one. Wayne, how you doing tonight?
All right.
We appreciate you calling. How can we help you tonight?
Yeah. I was just wanting to let them know I've got about 7,000 acres down in West Tennessee. And I'm looking for a few deer hunters.
Well, we got a few.
Well, you probably found some.
You called the right place.
Yeah, sure did. What do you want? You want to lease it?
You can contact me at 615-573-6713 for the details.
All right. Y'all heard the man. 7,000 acres. Huh?
Yeah. What county is it in?
What county is it?
Perry County.
Perry County?
Okay.
All right.
Have gone, will travel.
Yeah. Have gun, will travel. Well, if you guys are interested in getting and being able to get it.
Perry.
Okay. Well, we'll let the masses know to get in touch with you.
All right, just contact me for details.
All right, we'll do it. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir.
Gonna be some deer meat somewhere in somebody's freezer.
He's got a lot of airtime saved up on his phone. I think he's gonna get wore out. That's good. I mean, heck, somebody will come in there and lease that place. Be a good place to hunt.
Yeah.
Perry County's a great area.
Yeah, that's
down there.
Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, it is. It's
I thought he said West Tennessee.
Yeah, it's more west middle. You know, more middle.
It's middle, but it's the west part of middle.
It's a great area to be.
I know it is. Lots of turkey in that area.
I bet it's a turkey gobbler somewhere on that.
Yeah. You got that right.
Well, all right, so moving on to something else that you talked about I found very interesting. You was telling Dayton earlier, looking on the graphs, that you can literally tell a difference in a male and a female fish the way they bite. Talk a little bit about that.
Them big females, you drop on them, I got several videos of it, but, you know, when you drop on them big female, every time she gonna say, you'll see her change color. You know, on that grass, she gonna change, she's gonna get way up under it. Boom, bite it. I feel like in males, I don't know if it's that time of year, whatever their testosterone level, you'll run it up there beside them and as you've seen it, like, they'll miss it. I mean, they just freak out, you know, I guess
Just
They got
almost
so much
like a
energy.
reaction,
Yeah.
just run right past
Yeah,
it almost.
but like them big females, man,
They're
they
not
take
missing.
their time. You know,
Yeah.
they'll get down, they'll take their time, come right up, and you take their mouth. You know what I mean? So they're accurate like that. I feel
Yeah,
like a fish older like that
Yeah.
got a whole lot more experience. You know, they're gonna, you know what I mean?
Know how to
And
eat it.
she'll get it every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's really neat that you can see. Again, just more things you can learn from using these electronics and from watching fish. You mentioned too, as far as literal inches, you were saying you're casting to a fish, you're bringing the bait back. You slow down just enough that bait drops 2 inches, or you hold up or something. It's over.
Well, if I tell people all the time when I'm fishing, keep it above him. I had to say that.
Yeah.
You know, it seemed like 100 times a day. Keep
Yeah.
it above him, because if that fish ever has to go tail up, what I tell people, if he ever has to go, you know, if you drop it, if like I'll throw past him, drop it, kind of control it. I want to tell people get complete control of it.
Yeah.
You know, let it get down to him. When he sees it, I kind of want to go on a 45 away from him. Because
Okay.
if he ever has to do like this,
He won't. Yeah.
95
If he tries,
times out
he'll
of
miss
100.
it a lot of times,
Yeah,
even
but-
if he does try.
Yeah, you know, where's your eyes at?
Yeah, that's right.
Their eyes
And the
on top of
crappie's
their head.
eyes are up here.
What about weight? Wind change the weight of the jig, of course. Wind blowing and
To me, it all depends on water depth.
right.
You know, I go to these heavier jigs. Like I said, Jerry Rogers ties these jigs for us. He makes, that's a 5/32. But I'll use these to get, like, if say most of these, you know, big fish are 12 foot.
But you got another weight above them, don't you?
Not this time of year.
Okay.
My
I
fish
mean,
is
but
just
when we
these.
was doing that, it was,
Right, yes. But yeah, most time they're sitting so still, then you in the water so muddy you can get up on them.
Yeah.
But this time of year, we're throwing to them with ultralights.
Okay.
So I want to get this jig down there as fast as I can. It's either going to be on him or it ain't. And close ain't close enough. You know, it's got to be perfect. You want your jig and him to be the same color.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And if
Yeah.
it's not, I tell people, like, if the faster you can reel it in and get it back on him or get it back out there and try again, the more fish we're going to catch throughout the day. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you wait, you know, seconds turn to minutes, you know.
Yeah, right.
You've been
Right,
all day.
absolutely.
I want to get this jig down there to him as fast as I can, get it on him, get him caught, move on.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the way I look at it.
Right.
Yeah, but when it gets down there to him, if he's sitting here, I want to get it down there to him, come away from him. If you ever let it, when he sees it, he's going to change colors on that grass.
Yeah.
He's going to change colors, and, you know, then I ain't worried about looking at it no more. I'm just up, reeling away from him. And then when he hits it, you know, I mean, he'll smoke it most of the time. You know, I mean, he's going to hit it. But if you ever let it, because what, like I was telling Sandra, what people do is they'll be reeling it, and all of a sudden they'll go, like, the fish will start chasing it, and they anticipate the bite like bass fishing.
Yeah.
They do like this. Well, if that jig drops, you seen it even in the winter. If that
Yeah.
jig drops this far, it's gonna change that fish's complete attitude. Like his attitude is gonna change,
Yeah.
and it'll mess him up. He'll won't bite it. You can throw back on him. He'll follow it all the way to the trolling motor, swim down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can, and he'll do it 5 or 6 times, but he'll never eat. You know,
I
like if
mean,
he's gonna
it's amazing that, you know, that
Yeah.
just the different things that you can learn, especially getting into like you do on a day-to-day basis and fishing them. So
Yes, sir.
great information so far. Guys, we're going to go over right now and we're going to do this week's tip of the week. All right, guys, this week's tip of the week is being brought to you by our friend over at Cry Like Realtors, our buddy Wes Stone. Y'all can find him at 1432 West Main Street there in Lebanon, Tennessee. Or y'all can give him a call, 615-289-9551. Let him take care of all your real estate needs, and tell our buddy Wes we said hello. All right, you got us a tip over there? I mean, you have been sharing a bunch of them, but if you got us just a quick tip for tip of the week.
I don't know if they're all right. You know, like I tell people, what I learned about this thing, I didn't go with anybody. I learned it all on my boat. But if I had to give one, you know, best tip I give people on my boat is keep it above it.
Keep it above.
Keep it above it. Whether you're long poling, whether anything, especially in the winter, you know, you gotta be still.
Yeah.
He don't want it moving. He don't, you know.
Yeah.
But when he sees it, lift it above him. Or same thing with it rip. Keep it above him. Get it above him. If you get it above him, his eyes on top of his head.
All right.
You know, he can see it. He can be accurate.
Well, guys, we're going to get ready to take another quick break. If you've called, hang in there. We might try to still get you on here. We'll be right back with some more Southern Woods and Waters.